Welcome to those of you making the connection now on GBN television. We're coming to you live on GBN's Facebook and YouTube pages as well. It's always great to be in your company. I'm Janelle. The Mid-Morning Buzz starts now, and this morning we are joined by two members of the RGPF's Special Victims Unit. We have joining us Detective Constable Andrew and Coutain. Lady and gent, good morning and welcome to the Mid-Morning Buzz.
All right, good morning.
Okay, we're hearing you loud.
Good morning to you and good morning to the public.
Okay, wonderful. It's a pleasure having you on the program this morning. We know the SVU, you're normally inundated with lots of work, lots of reports, and we're happy that you've taken the time to come and chat with us this morning to share some more information as to the roles and functions of the SVU and the impact you've had in dealing with some of the issues we've been faced with recently. And I'm getting some feedback. I suspect you're listening to us on a device, and we always seem to get feedback when you're on. So if you could just mute or turn off whatever it is you're listening to us on so we don't get the feedback to interrupt the program as we go forward, that would be very helpful. So we'd start with Constable Andrew. If you could just give us a brief overview as to the roles and the functions of the SVU to people who may not be familiar with your department yet. You need to unmute your mics. Both of you are muted.
Yes. Just one moment. Technical difficulties we're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I will just go ahead still for the sake of time.
Right.
So good morning once again to GBN and the listening audience. As introduced, I am Detective Constable 835 Coutain, attached to the Special Victims Unit, a sub-office of the CID, the Criminal Investigation Department. What we like to do firstly, of course, is to inform the listening public as to our roles and responsibility. Since our enlistment on 2018, September, we were tasked with a mandate of really in three dimensions. First off is for advocacy to initiate relevant community projects, including lectures at schools, communities, groups, and to work with the community. Secondly, of course, is to collaborate with stakeholders for the appropriate and timely intervention and the support of victims. And by stakeholders, of course, there's many parts of the Ministry of Social Development we work with on a day-to-day basis, and that being the gender-based violence of Ministry of Social Development, legal aid and counseling, probation unit, child protection authority. And also thirdly is to enhance the service provided to victim and to give advice and directive investigation, and that matters can be done in a timely manner to expedite matters generally. So this is what the SVU deals with as we speak to mandates.
Okay, wonderful. I have to say, Detective Coutain, you were the first male officer I've interacted with from the unit. I had started to suspect it was totally female operated, but I'm happy that you're on the program today to clear up that at least for me. You mentioned working with stakeholders to achieve your objectives, the support for victims, and so who are some of the partners you normally work with?
As I listed, that would be generally the Ministry of Social Development, which has CPA, that's Child Protection Authority, probation unit also to an extent, legal aid and counseling, where at the court referrals and be done for counseling, man-to-man program, anger management programs. So these are some of the stakeholders.
Okay, wonderful. Detective Andrew, are you able to hear us and join in now? You're still muted. Just unmute for us so we could hear.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll also like to add that two other services that are provided by the Ministry of Social Development victims are psychosocial support and also legal representation for victims who may need a service and are unable to afford it.
Okay, and that is key because we recently heard about increase in fees, and I know some people were very worried that getting the support they need may become a challenge with the increase in fees. So you advocate on their behalf and you're able to provide some of their legal services without charge.
Yes, we do a referral to the ministry, and they would follow up from there.
Okay, so let's just tack back a little bit. You mentioned your establishment in September 2018. We're now in 2021. What would you say the impact has been thus far? Are you able to meet your objectives? Are you able to see a mitigation in crimes, especially gender-based crimes or crimes against children, sexual violence? What has it been like thus far?
Yes, I would say that since the inception of the unit, we have seen many persons coming forward to report matters. Some of those matters would have occurred years or months before, and they feel confident that they can come here and get results through counseling or whatever support is offered by the other entities we work with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. At the start, or during the COVID period, I remember it was probably late last year when I interacted with one of your officers, I'm not too sure which one, they mentioned that there was a decrease in the amount of reported crime, and we suspected at the time it probably was because people were inside, confined, and not able to come out during the COVID period and report matters. Do you have any stats to share on what the level of sexual-related crime or domestic violent crime has been in the last year or so?
Yes, we do. In 2019, the RGPF had a total of 179 victims, whereas in 2020, we had a total of 147, and we saw a decrease of 32 or 18%. The youngest victims in 2020 were 3 persons 2 years old, 2 females and 1 male. The eldest victim was a female 74 years old. Also, we had 7 victims who were aged 50 and above, all females. In 2020, there were 5 male victims of sexual abuse. 3 were under the age of 16 and 2 above. Also, we saw 3 teenage pregnancies in 2020, whereas we had only 7 in 2019. For the period January and February 2020, compared with the same time this year, in 2020, we saw a total of 24 victims. In 2021, we saw 31. So from January to February this year, that is the number that we saw.
Sorry, before you go on, the 20 and 31 last year to this year, what type of victims are you talking about here? I didn't get that.
Sexual offenses.
Okay. And that 20 and 31, is that a combination of both male and females?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I will give you a breakdown of that. 13 of the victims, of 2020 were 54% of that, or 13, were females under the age of consent, and the remainder ranged from ages 16 to 36. And for the period January to February 2021, 16 of the victims were under the legal age of consent in Grenada, and the remaining age ranged from 16 to 63. Important to note, though, that one of the reports made in February was a male-on-male perpetrated, where a 16-year-old male was sexually assaulted by another male, 28 years. So that's where we are at present.
I'm not saying I'm happy to hear that it has happened, but I'm happy that it is being reported, and it people are feeling more empowered to come forward with it, because we suspect that it has been happening over the years, and the males, they're sometimes afraid of maybe what society would say, how they would react, and they've not been coming forward. But we understand that males have been abused, so I'm happy that they're coming forward. I just want to verify though the amount of sexual related crimes you just reported there, and you would give us a breakdown in a bit, but are they current cases, or are they people who were abused in the past and only coming forward to talk about it now?
Okay, for the matters reported in January and February, most of them were committed during those months. However, before, in the past years, we would have seen persons coming forward with matters that were committed years or months ago. So we're seeing more current reporting.
Okay. Do you know what percentage that would be? Because I'm just trying to see, are we making progress? Are people, are they still committing this crime, or is it all crimes that we're dealing with? But you're saying we still have some current numbers. People are still abusing people, more or less.
Yes, we have seen some current crimes being committed.
Okay. Well, you promised us a breakdown into the numbers, so let's just see what they mean. Go ahead.
Yes, for 2021 thus far, we have had 16 cases of indecent assault, 5 for rape, 8 for sexual intercourse, 1 sexual assault, and 4 violation of privacy.
Those numbers are still too frightening. They are still too frightening. What about your prosecution rate as it relates to the crime? How has that been going?
Okay, I will let my colleague, Constable Coutain, respond to that question.
As it relates to the prosecution department, it is clear to understand that matters is not today and tomorrow it's finished. A lot of the matters are ongoing, and trial, especially in indictments, we have to go first to the magistrate court and then to the high court. That is sometimes time consuming, and most of the matters are ongoing as present. However, we must also consider there are some matters that are summary, like the summary indecent assaults. Those matters are most time expedited and are dealt with. But what I can say is that it's more so of a higher percentage of detection and bringing before the courts through the prosecution for it to be dealt with. Effective, I would say.
Okay, that just left me with a lot more questions. Okay, so for instance, in 2019, you mentioned you had, was it 179 reported crimes to deal with the unit? Of that 179, what percentage or how many cases were successfully prosecuted and the victim gets some kind of satisfaction for the matter they brought forward?
Well, as it relates to that statistics, will have to be for another session to tally up the successes of those that is pending.
Okay. Do you have for the period before 2019? You officially started in 2018.
Yes, we have a lot of those statistics, of course, of 2018. But for prosecution, out of those total, I still not able to say at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was about to ask you about rehabilitation of offenders, and so, what has been the response? What happens? So somebody commits this crime. What the type of treatment? And so, are you involved in that part of the process as well?
Yes, we are. But there's some determining factors as it comes to that. Especially when it comes to juveniles, the legal process through the criminal justice system is somewhat different than that of an adult, which of course would determine the rehabilitation aspect of it. In other words, where we may have a juvenile whose age of, say, 16, 17, being a male, diversion is more so the approach, once that person acknowledged guilt, and we try to get them not so much in a custodial sentence or behind prison, but to get them back in society, and so that they no longer become a repeated offender. So as I said, there's a lot of determining factors when it comes to rehabilitation of offenders of sexual or domestic violence.
Okay, got you. I know you've operated a hotline as well. How effective has it been for you thus far? Are people using it to make their reports?
Well, as speak to the hotline 400, we have an alternate number we use, which is the police control, of course, CID, and the police stations, emergency lines or direct lines. To receive those calls. And yes, they have been successful. Persons have been using them over the years that I have seen so far in the unit. And with that too, we always trying to inform the general public that giving a report is a lot different than giving information. And just in keeping with your question, anyone can call a station and give information and don't disclose who they are. For confidentiality purpose or protection of themselves. You don't want to call a station and give your name, and the next thing you hear is, you know how the public are sometimes, that the police give information. So just to recap on that, there is a complaint, and then there are, of course, reports of complaints, or there is information. So feel free to contact any station, island-wide, or the SVU, or the CID. The information will be collected, and it will be acted upon. I'll show you on that.
Okay. There was one case I saw recently on your website, probably was last week or the week before, but it caught my attention because it was a bus conductor arrested for, I think it was sexual abuse of a minor. And we saw that the driver, even though he didn't participate actively in the crime, was arrested also. What law came into play here?
Well, we go back to Section 45 of the Criminal Code that speaks to aiding and abetting of a crime. Now, we must keep in mind and not be ignorant that we all have a part to play. And when it comes to these type of offenses, it doesn't only affect the people directly or the victims, but it affects you, it affects I. Mm-hmm. And in that case of that matter, the bus driver had a part to play. Whether or not he did not participate in the sexual act or the indecent act, but the mere fact that he would have driven the vehicle and created that environment for the offense committed, he is also guilty of an offense. And in this case, abetment of a crime.
Okay. I mean, I know it's an ongoing case and you probably can't divulge the details.
No, of course not.
But we would look forward.
Generally, just for information purpose,
right,
that anyone who plays a role in the commission of offense, whether direct or indirect, unintentional or intentionally, they subject themselves to some scrutiny by law enforcers.
No, I liked it actually. I like that it happened. You don't create, and I know you always advocate for people to come forward with information, but people can be charged if they are aware of abuse of a minor and they don't report it. Yeah. So family members, have there been cases in recent times where family members have been charged for not reporting crimes where minors were abused?
Yes, that's a fact.
Wow.
So with that light, is always my privilege to remind persons that if they have, especially duty bearers, by that I mean person who may have custody of a child, being a guardian, a parent, a teacher, nurse, doctor, whoever they are duty bound upon receiving or having knowledge of any sexual act involving a minor to report it, and fail to do so, again, will subject themselves to intervention by law enforcers.
Wonderful. I like that. You get the whole community involved, and I always say that is one of the ways we can tackle this crime. In terms of support for the department, would you say that you're well resourced now to tackle the issues that you're confronted with?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
With a smile on my face.
Yes.
With a smile on my face.
You don't get that often.
It's really amazing. Sorry.
I say you don't get that often. People always figure there is something else that could happen. There is one resource they would need to make their department more efficient. But you're saying right now you're fully staffed. There is no resource you need that would make your job more efficient.
I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. I'm just trying to be optimistic with my response. Right? I mean, there's always room for improvement or for more support. But with a smile on my face is saying that I am pleased with the work that has been done with limited staff. And with that, I extend gratitude to the Ministry of Social Development, Ms. Pete and her team, for the continuous support, and other stakeholders, CPA. Whenever there's an issue on hand, it might not be manpower at the unit or by CID, so to speak, but we get it done. Everyone is on board, even members of the community. Once we tap into those resources, the people in the community, they help us. And they, as I said, it's not just our business. There's you and I. Everyone is affected, and it's long-term. It doesn't stop there. So I believe that person who had that mentality before have sense it's time of all. And we are now gravitating now that we need to help to curb this issue, this salient issue of sexual violence.
Okay. Are there any challenges?
Also, before you go on, ma'am, I would just like to join with Constable Coutain to thank the entities that work along with us.
Mm-hmm.
We are in constant communication. Our calls are returned, and the support has been tremendous thus far from all the entities we work together with.
Okay, wonderful. In the past, and I know sometimes as a nation we tend to get reactive and we get outraged when we hear about abuse against children, especially. And I know there was some clamoring for some legislative changes. Based on your current situation, would you still advocate for those, or are you saying we're in a comfortable position, and the laws are adequate? We have no challenges in bringing forward the cases and getting justice.
Well, if I may be able to address that, it's my humble opinion that there, as I said, there's always room for improvements or laws to be put in place to expedite and to ensure that there is a high percentage, 100% solving rate and prosecution rate perhaps on these type of offenses. So I would not say we are content as what is there. Well, we are content, but we would like also to see more laws implemented so that can aid those, especially matters of children of tender age. Because, I mean, one would say it might be unfair to have a child of tender age be brought to court and cross-examined and to go through the all scrutiny of the justice system up through process, So that is what I would say.
Okay. If there is one change you'd recommend, or if there is one resource you would ask for, what would it be?
Well, I'll ask my colleague to answer that question.
I was going to ask her too, because she's been pretty silent on us.
If there's one request that I might, or one thing I would like to see change, maybe stricter penalties.
We lost you there for a little bit. We heard stricter and then you were gone. Say it loud.
Stricter penalties for some of the sexual offenses.
Okay. And if there is one resource you think would enhance the department's effectiveness, what would that be?
I would say manpower, and everywhere there is an issue of manpower.
Mm-hmm.
I would say manpower, but as Dr. Coutain said before, with the limited manpower that we have, we still continue to perform at a very high level. And I just want to commend the staff of this team and the Special Victims Unit for the job that we have been doing thus far.
Okay. The department is still headed by Inspector Andrea Cadet, is it? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Extend my greetings this morning. Before we wrap, is there anything else you wanted to leave us with?
Yes, I would like to add that the the Special Victims Unit also engage in lectures at schools. Also, we do lectures at PTA meetings so that we can enlighten persons as to the offenses that are committed and things that they can do to prevent these things from happening. So we educate the children as a means of being proactive, and the parents. Also, we are planning on some other programs that we think would be useful in sensitizing the public with respect to domestic violence, sexual crimes, and other sexual offenses that affect our society.
Okay, you did mention that earlier, and I was wondering, how has the lecturing been going with the onset of COVID? Are you still able to get to the students and so?
Yes, we have been doing some lectures, but on a smaller scale due to the COVID protocols. But we have been doing some lectures.
Okay, and the schools, they can use their own initiative to reach out to you to come in to speak to their students if they think there is a problem?
Yes, they can do that.
Okay, wonderful. Inspector Coutain, anything from you before we wrap? Detective Coutain, sorry, I just gave you a promotion.
Yes, well, I receive it gladly. Yeah? Well, just to remind the listening public that the issue that we deal with is, in fact, a serious one and a sensitive one. And we encourage persons, if they have information or they have needs or concern, feel free to reach out to us. We have a professional staff, well efficient, and willing to go as much as required to ensure safety and to address this issue of this growing concern of sexual crimes, domestic violence, and child abuse. I'm forgetting the last one, child abuse. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Detectives Coutain and Andrews. They're attached to the Special Victims Unit, or special guest this morning on the Mid-Morning Buzz. Thank you so much. We appreciate your service. We take a quick break on the Buzz. When we come back, we should be linking up with the folks at Real Value IGA Supermarket to see what's cooking this week. Stay with us on the Buzz.
Friendly faces, sweet exotic fruits, fresh veggies, local spices. Just what you find when exploring our bustling Grenadian markets on Fridays and Saturdays. That is why GBN, Maggie, and Just Cool Media have teamed up with the Ministry of Works to bring you Maggie Market Vibes. Meet the people that feed us, clothe us, and keep the economy going. Plus, get your Maggie seasonings and other products weekly at the best prices. Maggie Market Vibes, live from markets across the island. Saturdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on GBN television and social media platforms. Maggie Market Vibes. Your Saturdays are about to be turned up. Fresh from victories in the T20 and ODI series, the West Indies, under the captaincy of Craig Brathwaite, now turn their attention to the two-match test series. It's international cricket, West Indies versus Sri Lanka. First test, March 21st to the 25th, and the second, March 29th to April 2nd. It's cricket, lovely cricket, live on Classic 105.5 and 105.9. The test series, West Indies versus Sri Lanka, is sponsored by Grenada Electricity Services Limited, Spice Isle Imaging Center, and Republic Bank.
Man Skulls, you see how this cake, she come down with this cake since morning, and she had the cake on the plate, the man hungry, she wouldn't say, well, look, piece of cake. Tell you, man, get a piece of cake now. You see, give me a piece.
You see, I'm waiting for Doc missing. But King, that piece of cake here is for you. You could have that cake. I talk about you. Yeah.
So I will take
No. That piece of cake is not for you. This little piece of cake here is for you. You
but you don't need cake, so what?
Yeah, but that piece of cake here is for Doc. You see, no matter what I try, no matter what I do, Doc only starting to go and sell in market. You understand? I beauty brain, I poke up my lip, I get dressed up, is what I do. It just door walking. So I decided I get up early this morning. Before I brush my teeth, before I bathe, I make sure and I take care of that piece of cake. You know what I mean? I take care of that piece. You know what I mean? Okay, I take care of that piece of cake. So that piece of cake here is for Doc. Unless any one of you want to spend the rest of your life with me, don't touch that cake.
Scarlett, she go hold him. That dead.
Hold what?
Listen.
She go hold him.
That.
Listen.
You don't know holding him.
That cake here is for Doc. That's all I'm saying. That cake here is for Doc and it's for Doc alone. Don't touch that piece of cake. Touch it at your own risk.
Folks, join us this Friday on We Culture, and you're going to hear everything about polling, shaman, akadamachuku, mandundun, and we probably might force Rishi to tell us what she do with that cake. So be sure to join us this Friday. Skulls, dead.
You don't dare.
Leave him like that.
You don't dare. The
Leave
things
him
I have
like
in
that.
store for Doc here. Doc coming alive. Then what?
Folks, this Friday, We Culture.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Greetings. This is Eugene Gattuso, and I'm inviting you to join me every Saturday morning from 10 to 12 on K105 starting March 20th as we bring you the brand new program Grenada's Music to the World. We'll be featuring music from all genres by Grenadian artists at home and abroad. If you're a Grenadian artist and would like to get your music featured on the program, please send it to grenadasmusictotheworld@gmail.com. Celebrating our own Saturday mornings 10 to 12 Classic Radio beginning March 20th. See you then. Greetings. This is Eugene Gattuso, and I'm inviting you to join me every Saturday morning from 10 to 12 on K105 starting March 20th as we bring you the brand new program Grenada's Music to the World. We'll be featuring music from all genres by Grenadian artists at home and abroad. If you're a Grenadian artist and would like to get your music featured on the program, please send it to grenadasmusictotheworld@gmail.com. Celebrating our own Saturday mornings 10 to 12 Classic Radio beginning March 20th. See you then.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
There's no better way to start your day than with me on Good Morning Grenada. Good Morning Grenada is your one-stop shop. We have information, education, entertainment, your bi-weekly traffic cam, and we link up with the sister isles of Carriacou and PT Martinique. Join me every 6:35 on weekdays for Good Morning Grenada. It's your daily dose of all things Grenadian mixed with just a little bit of crazy.
Good morning, good morning.
I said just a little bit of crazy.
I tell all of the things that take me.
Good Morning Grenada, 6:35 a.m. on weekdays, available on all GBN platforms. Start your morning off right.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts.